having a discussion with a, let's say, philosopher is the same as fighting with a pig. After a while, you realize he likes it, like in the mud. Yeah. I wasn't really brought up with religion, and I mean, since I've met you, we've talked about Islam's book. It's called The 40 Rules of Love. It's also about Islam perspective. It's a bit different from what I see on the TV and stuff.
I was really living off the grid, and banana phone.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I spent a long time on my thesis, and I finally finished it. And I thought people were going to be happy, but the only thing is, well, what you gonna do now?
But this is something lovely. I mean, one of the things I really enjoy about you is that you don't shy away from conversation, and as I've said in previous videos as well, it is the month of Ramadan. In the Holy Quran, we're told that we should always seek common ground with people,
yeah.
And I really like the fact that you're open to discussing things, because, for example, I think I took a philosophy class ages ago, and it's never really been that clear to me what the difference between a philosopher's viewpoint is and, say, an ism, so like a religion per se. So if you could just break that down a little bit, if there is a distinction.
Yeah, it's a big question, so I can try to give my own view. I wasn't really brought up with religion, and I mean, since I've met you, we've talked about Islam, so I actually really enjoy it, and I've read the book. It's called The 40 Rules of Love. It's also about Islam perspective. It's a bit different from what I see on the TV and stuff. So I think the most what I learned from you actually is that a lot of religion it's also questioning the things you get taught, and trusting yourself, trusting God in this case. And I think it's a beautiful thing when you don't fixate on a specific thing, but when you have some guidance that you can fall back on. And I really like the big compassion aspect of religion, and I think a lot of people actually who are not religious, they could use some more compassion and I mean get taught some more specific morals, because when you get like when you maybe box it in, you can start to think outside the box as well. So you can when you get taught one thing, you can start to see, okay, I think this, what do other people think? But when you don't get taught anything, it's just we call it a wirwar in Dutch. It's a mess. So, and then the philosophy and religion, I think it's close when you, well, what I said, when you don't fixate. I think it's maybe far apart when you say in religion, this is the truth, because that's the opposite of what philosophers would like to do. They would like to say, okay, you say this is the truth, I question that. And I think you can then have a good discussion as a philosopher, but also in religion, as long as you are open and respectful for each other.
Yeah, and I think it's so fascinating because, like, I mean, religion is one aspect, and it's something that in some parts of the world is maybe more cherished, but it's also interesting, I don't know if you agree with my analysis, that even if people don't subscribe to a particular religion, people will always subscribe subconsciously, even sometimes, to a view on life. So for example, if you ask somebody from I'm from the UK, we're here in the Netherlands, people will talk about things like Western liberal values, which exist, we're brought up with them, and very often those values are not exclusive to a geographical location. Like they could you can find them in Australia, you can find them in other parts of the world, and they're just maybe called by different names. And I find that is something that maybe people don't always question either, which is the fact that some of our laws, whilst we agree with them, I think in most cases, that is also not something that maybe you're taught to critically think about all the time. I don't know if I did that justice, but that's something I thought that's been on my mind, because sometimes I often find pushback from people, which is like, religion is man-made and stuff like that, and that's, of course, people are welcome to that point, but we're then also living in a man-made society. So if your point is that man-made things are not good, well, you know. Anyways, I mean, how do people respond to you when you talk about right and wrong? I mean, is that because, of course, everyone's entitled to an opinion, a lot of people have opinions, and sometimes people get upset if you shake their foundation. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I think in my like my friends and my family, they all have kind of the same views on a lot of aspects. So I don't have harsh discussions or something that often. And also, what I have really learned is that you shouldn't talk about right and wrong. You should just talk about, okay, you feel this way, you think this way. What do you mean? Like, just only ask questions about where does the thought come from? Does it make you does it hurt you or not? And there, try to let kind of go of the right and wrong. Only like maybe murder, yeah, it's wrong. But even about that subject, you could have fun discussions. Like keep it light, keep it. You're not gonna. We're boxing, but
I'm not gonna actually.
No, it's kind of like kickboxing, right? You're just punching for fun. It's
sparring.
It's sparring. Only when you make laws, you should take it like really seriously, of course. But what you said, like question them again and again. That's the.
No, and I think that's something that I sometimes feel like, because sometimes people feel like it's a burden to discuss these things, and I get that maybe we've all got rent to pay, we've all got other aspirations in our lives, but what is the line between wanting to have a discussion and impinging on someone's peace of mind? Let's say, right? So you could, for example, you could advise your friends that, hey, look, I'm giving a scenario, hypothetical, that, hey, I've read into how much smartphones damage your health, or, I mean, we haven't even discussed your phone. So maybe later we'll show some of our sparring footage with this camera today, and then Oetse's camera, which I found very cool. What model was that again?
The old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Nokia 411 or something. I'll look it up for you.
This guy was really living off the grid, and banana phone. It was amazing. I really, really liked it, and we got some really nice, cool sparring footage from it.
All right.
But so I mean, because some people are just kind of like immune to advice, whether it's good or bad, but they're not really trying to hear anything. So if you've ever, even if you're not trying to tell anyone to do anything, but you're trying to open up a conversation, what advice would you give for people to have more discussions with each other without it turning into arguments?
I think it's the best way. The thing that I use most is not wanting to be right, not going into a discussion to convince the other person of your point of view, but only to understand the other person's view. For me, that's why I have discussions, to broaden my own view, not necessarily to broaden the other person's view, except when it affects me, like when someone's doing stuff I don't like, then I would say, hey, this is my, I feel this way about it, but otherwise just understand the other person. There's actually this quote that really stick to me. It's from a YouTube channel actually. It's seek first to understand before being understood. And I really try to incorporate that in my discussions or my talks with people. Just understand the other person before trying to be understood yourself. And another thing, when people are really harsh and really they actually want another type of conversation, I like to fire them respectfully with questions. That like sincere questions. Yeah. Just ask them, okay, how do you feel about this, and stop telling your own point of view. It does make sense. And there's this other quote. It's fun. It's like having a discussion with a, let's say, philosopher is the same as fighting with a pig. After a while, you realize he likes it, like in the mud. Yeah, I should do this over once.
No, that's completely fine. That's quite funny, actually. Hey, so we noticed that the camera was on and there's no rolling pigs. Yeah, Usa. So as you're looking for work right now, what kind of what is the landscape like for a person who's in your degree or considering your degree? Would you say?
I think it's tough because I don't really know who wants me or who's looking for a person like me. It's really something I have to figure out myself, contact people and find out where do they need me, where do they need my skills, the skills I actually got taught like at my master's, and something I would love to have. I have help from my parents, but I know a lot of people don't, and I think this is something my how do you call it, opleiding, my studies could have helped me with more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have similar stories in the earth sciences where sometimes the things that you're taught in your degree program are very, very interesting, but they might be more suited to academia as opposed to within the job market, or at least the terminology is not always that clear. And I think that people pay, a fair amount of money to get into, courses. So there should definitely, I think, be more transparency if there, or maybe it should be more obvious to students where you get that information, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously society has its own pressures. Do you have people like saying to you, when are you going to get a job? Or when you were doing your masters, did you face a lot of questions? I know you also had a bit of a long time with your master's thesis, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I spent a long time on my thesis, and I finally finished it. And I thought people were going to be happy, but the only thing is, well, what you going to do now? What you going to do next? I get them. It's nice that they're interested in me, but sometimes it gets tough. And people, when I say I study philosophy, they say, "Oh, okay, cool. You're gonna do nothing after this. What are you gonna do with your life?" But actually, for me personally, it doesn't really matter. I've learned a lot about the things I like, the things I don't like. So I just gonna do stuff not for a career, but for my own happiness. Like if I get money to live, it's enough.
I think that's a great aim, and usually where you follow your passion, the money will follow you. No, thank you so much for your time. Oetse, we could have plenty of discussions like I'd like to talk to you about. Of course, I've come from the UK, but I have Pakistani roots, so there's definitely things that I see, for example, about Dutch culture, which I find fascinating. For example, like people's relationship with their parents. I think there is definitely a family-orientated thing here, but at some point, people are expected to grow up, and maybe there's so many interesting subjects that we could touch on. And again, not for the purpose of criticism or any kind of disrespect or anything like that, simply to learn and for other people to learn about each other's cultures and viewpoints. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
See you soon, guys. This will be released soon, and all of that. Peace. Cheers. Thanks, buddy. Yes.